The comments on our Facebook live feed going off. Please comment away, guys. We're now going to Bree. Where are we going?
We're going to the U.S. mainland. I think these lovely ladies are from different areas, and so I reached out to the Chamorro Association of the Midwest. I spoke with them last week, but I wanted to, speak with them this week about just voting in the presidential election. And so if we could, we'll just go ahead and just have everybody introduce themselves, and we'll start at the top left with Joni, right?
Sejismaasi Naanhu si Joni Leon Guerrero, and I'm living in the unceded territories of the Munsee Lenape, Canarsie, and Rockaway peoples, also known as Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn in the house. Here representing Guam. So thank you for having us.
Let's go over to Claire White, who's on the upper right-hand corner. Good morning, Claire.
Buenas, John Hafede Todos Hamsu, si Claire Zu. I am living in California, also known as the land of the Maidu, the Pomo, and many other tribes. Thank you, Joni, for doing that. I just realized that I should also look it up, so thank you. I'm over here in Sacramento, California.
And then Christine Camacho is in the lower left. She came on as part of the Chamorro Association of the Midwest, talking about a great thing they did with college prep. And now you're here to talk politics with us. Good morning, Christine.
Hafade, good morning. How are you? Thank you for having us again.
Of course. And then we have Professor Antoinette Charfers McDaniel, who's on the lower right-hand corner. Good morning, Antoinette. Unmute.
Half a day, Todos Hanzu, Guahusi, Professor Antoinette Cephas McDaniel. I would like to acknowledge that I am on the land of the traditional homeland of Lenape, Delaware, Shawnee, Wyandot, Miami, Ottawa, Potawatomi, and other Great Lakes tribes. I am Familian Kapili, Zentsungi, Tautau, Barragata, and Tautau Tumuning. I am coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio. So thank you for having us again. It's nice to be home over the airways. Yeah, and it was cold. It was. If you watched the game last night, it was snowing on the Raiders and the Browns. But the Raiders beat us, so oh well. These things happen. Yeah. I don't wear my heart on the Browns.
Just chalk it up to COVID.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
So let's talk about the presidential election, because, we over here in Guam, we don't get the we can't vote for president. And so, so did all of you guys vote or voting tomorrow?
Already voted.
Voting tomorrow.
Okay. And so, how do you guys plan on vote? If you're not comfortable with saying who you voted for, just, that's fine.
I think I would be uncomfortable if I said the wrong name, but the right name is Biden all the way. So I don't know if that's going to gain me some haters on the island, but no question.
Mm-hmm. Can you share a little bit of the reasons why you voted for Biden?
Well, I think first of all, I want to just talk about politics a little more broadly. Sorry to be a professor, but I think that just being Chamorro in the mainland, it's political. We're constantly advocating for who we are. If you're in New York, like Joni and Chris, or in the outside of the hubs of California, where even that's a struggle, you're constantly trying to explain who you are. So that's political in and of itself. I think for me, some of the issues come down to the way to indigeneity, but also the way in which we are often mistaken or racialized. There's anti-Asian violence, starting with COVID, right? The numbers spiked. A young Vietnamese boy was attacked and going with his family, going to, I think it was Costco months ago. When I see, what are the groups called? A conservative group called the Boogaloo Boys, who are appropriating hibiscus prints. That's political to me. It's political when in Charleston, You have white supremacists chanting, blood and soil and carrying tiki torches, when we know that in Polynesian mythology, tiki represents the first human being on Earth. So let me just back all of that up, and maybe my answer will make more sense to you. There's a way in which Chamorros on off island, even the mixed race folks, my daughter is mixed race, we know that our people have served, our parents, our fathers, our mothers at this point have served in the US military, died for this country, and yet continue to be denied rights, even up to and including having difficulty accessing VA benefits in the mainland. So, and my father died early, many years earlier, from asbestosis. And all he did was show up to go to work one day in Bremerton, Washington. Was not even in a rating where he was exposed to asbestosis. So many issues that for people on the mainland in the diaspora differ, but are related to our indigeneity, our colonization, history of militarization, but also our racialization as non-white people. So those are the conditions in which, for me at least, Biden was a no-brainer. Imperfect, I will say, imperfect, because there's a lot to be desired. There is a kind of neoliberal component. We're not talking much about having troops deployed, including our people, our men, going over to Afghanistan and other areas around the world. And that's not even on the table in part of presidential politics right now. So I will let youngins speak because they have so much to say. I want to shout out, they're all amazing in each of their ways there. And I think the point is, for Chamorros on the mainland, we tend to be engaged where we are. So Puerto Ricans are also Cleveland, just outside of Cleveland, the second largest Puerto Rican off-island community is just down the road. So Puerto Ricans share the experience of Guahan and of being colonized and not being able to vote. So with that, I'll stop. Right. Please talk to everybody else. These are the rising leaders. I'm going to be checking out in a bit, but these are the rising leaders right here.
All right, let's go to you, Claire. And I'm just reading here that you express aspirations for eventually running for elected office.
Right. And so right now I am a special education teacher in Sacramento. It's my third year, and so I'm actually teaching one of my students about Dolores Huerta right now, and how big a part, she was of the, farm worker, like getting farm workers' rights and really just respecting farm workers and helping them, supporting them and sustaining themselves. And so for me right now, it's kind of like being in the trenches of education, if you will. And my mother was a teacher too. It's just really put me, I think, in a position to really see how all of the ills of society can really prevent and really kind of just how education is related to segregation, and how, my school is largely Black and brown. It's Asian, it's Latino, it's Black. We have a very small population of white kids here in South Sacramento. And so it's just really interesting to think of redlining and, housing loans being denied to African Americans and other people of color. And just to really just analyze all of the different pieces of politics and racism and sexism, all of those pieces that really do make it so much harder for people to, have access to the same opportunities for employment, for, pursuing life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness, all of that. And so I've been pretty involved in, and I can talk for really long, so I'll try to cut myself off. But I've tried to be involved locally in politics. And so, I've joined my local group of Sacramento County Young Democrats, and we actually get to kind of debate and vote on what local candidates we want to endorse. And we do have a lot of sway in that regard. And I'm just honestly trying to learn from everybody who does live and work near the Capitol who is in this group, because I don't see anybody on city council or my county board of supervisors who truly does seem to represent, lower class folks who are struggling to survive, folks who don't all have health care. it's largely property owners, it's largely landlords and people who are very disconnected from the diverse groups of folks in Sacramento. Anyway, sorry. So for me, I might not have a really, this might be kind of contentious because I honestly am really not excited to vote for Biden, but I am doing it. And, I go to demonstrations for, Black Lives Matter. I'm in solidarity with unhoused peoples. We have a lot of unhomed people in Sacramento, and it's hard because I have, really leftist folks who I agree with, and they're saying, you know what, the system doesn't work for us. It wasn't built for us. Everybody, will let you down. And we have, I would say that, I am voting for Biden because I care about the environment, and environmental justice is racial justice, is housing. They're all so interrelated that, without the environment, our indigenous folks can't survive. We can't carry on the culture. We can't, our language is so connected to nature and to preservation. And, and I do think that, there is a better chance of collaboration, and actually, if we can take care of the earth, then we can better take care of each other. And so that is why I'm voting for Biden. But for me, and I'm almost done. For me, I just really want to push forward the message that local politics are so important as well. We have we have so much money going to law enforcement, even with our CARES funding, I believe, like the coronavirus funding, we have a disproportionate amount, and we have so many unhomed peoples. And it's just such an outrage, and there's so much disrespect for our Black women leaders in Sacramento. The mayor has shown so much disdain. So for me, I'm like, I need to get one of those people out, and I need to go in so I can actually push for the change that the masses want. So anyway, so that's a little bit about why I feel the way I feel.
Well, thank you. Joni?
I agree with a lot of what Claire was saying. I'm located in New York City, so issues of social justice are prevalent here. We have a very diverse population, and being here during the pandemic and during the uprising has definitely influenced my decision. I don't feel great about voting for Biden. He's not what I think he's very moderate, and I think we need something more radical than him and what he's offering. But the climate issues are extremely important to me. I care so much about our kids and what we leave them for their future. And Donald Trump clearly does not care about the environment, and issues of women's rights, just completely erasing all of the progress that we've made in recent years. So Biden was the right choice for me.
And Christine, you're heading into the polls tomorrow? Is that what you were saying?
I am, and in the state of Pennsylvania, it is a battleground state. The governor has extended voting, which of course is not desired by those who are conservative. I live in where I do live is predominantly conservative. Unlike where Clarissa and Joni live, I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, and so it was difficult for my kids growing up. In 2015, a Trump supporter tried to run me off the road and tell me to go back to where I came from. In 2016, my daughter, they threw milk cartons at her and chanted "Build a Wall." Just this year, because I do, exercise my right to peacefully protest, I was threatened by someone at work with violence, and they did nothing because it's a conservative organization. So it's been challenging for me. And so Trump is not the right vote, obviously, right, for me. And as a victim, a female of sexual assault and rape, I cannot bring myself to vote for someone like Trump. And I think about my own daughters and their rights. And so like everyone here, right, Biden, a lot of better people could have made it to the ballot, but Biden is the right choice for me at this point in time, given those two options.
All right.
And it's a hard thing to do, like kind of toe the line with, because I'm more left centrist. I do hold conservative views. I was raised Republican, but when it comes to social justice issues, I am more left. And to toe the line with being a military family, and I know that some people think that supporting Black Lives Matter is some sort of defiance against those who serve, and it's not. It's really, in my perspective anyway, from my perspective, is taking the rights that they fight for and using those rights to protect other people. Right, there are heroes out in the field. We can be the heroes for our people here, and not just people of color, but all people who suffer injustice.
We appreciate your perspective, ladies. And, you know, our election coverage as far as the vote counting starts tonight here on Guam, but we know that that's when the polls will be opening there in the States. So let's keep in contact, and maybe we could pop you up on our Zoom feed during our election coverage, you know, to comment on how the results are going.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Happy to
Okay.
do it.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Stay safe. Thank you so much for coming on.
Ms. Mossy, have a great day.
Algomas. Wash your hands. Guys, I know that you've been away from home for a very long time. That's why we have in our KUAM News virtual Zoom room, Jason Salas. What do we have? Is there a piggy geek?
No, we wanted to go classic, but then actually do it up like a little bit special for our friends and everything like that. So we're actually going a little bit bougie. We've got Kelligwin swordfish.
What the?
I never heard of that.
Wow.
You guys never had swordfish Kelligwin?
No, I guess I'm just not used to having the bougie kind of.
That's good stuff right there.
Well, how do they say it in the States? Gifino States, it's elevated. Okay, so. And there's also Banana Saga. We got banana donuts there, too, if you guys want to take it. Virtual, of course. Okay? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll catch up with you tonight.
Let's make that a plan. If you guys are going to be up, I'm sure you will, jump on our coverage tonight, okay?
Sounds good.
That's
All
okay.
right.
Adios. There you go. From California to New York. Chamorros in the States.
Pennsylvania and Cleveland?
Right.
Cleveland
Yeah.
Browns?
We're definitely all over. So we're going to take a quick break. And as promised, we're flying to the CNMI. All Guam residents, get ready to get your nostril swabbed. And we'll touch base with